Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another video with me. And today we're going to be taking a look at JP news because I do believe last time I checked, when we go over to Global, yes, Global has not gotten its new thing yet. So yeah, I'm really interested always in new characters more than vision cards, because vision cards, as just a lot of the time, cards are good, but to me, characters are just more exciting. But that doesn't mean that vision cards aren't worth looking at, so let's take a peek. And as for our new vision card that has come out, is a job-based vision card, and we are looking at a pretty nice one. 18% agility, 40% acquired AP, 30 elemental chain resistance, and slash resistance on arena maps of 12% for maxing out this VC, which is pretty good. Unit that has this equipped: HP plus 5% and single target resistance plus 10. Very clearly made for the new version of Dario. Stat wise, it's magic based, it has 3 defense, and it has 369 HP. It goes a nice way to making Dario feel even stronger, and this VC is just insanely good right now with him in combination with 2 other characters that you may have heard about, specifically the 2 spear characters in Wind. Yeah, an 18% agility card, no reason to say no to that. So great new vision card for specific characters, and other groups I'm sure will like it too, but I already have a clear idea in my mind where currently this VC is good. But that's not all. We do have some other stuff to talk about, so let's go over. Before we jump into some more characters upgrades, let's break in a little bit, show off the new wind tower with the maximum wind floor being windy indeed. So you're going to want to bring a nice ice team to help cool them down. As for the Tempest ring itself, we now have a ring that is effectively getting earth resistance of 25%, wind resistance of 20%, and poison and silence resistance of 25%. Overall, I feel like the ring upgrades at this point compared to reliquaries are way less exciting. Most people don't always use these, but hey, the difficulty isn't really that bad per se, I guess, compared to what some things are going on right now, especially with Holo Vision cards pushing up what teams are capable of. So anyway, more on that maybe later, but for now we're going to jump into the V-Day characters, because we got 3 V-Day characters all getting upgraded, and with a new V-Day character showing up next week, perfect time to take a peek at it. So let's start with the one I'm the most eager to talk about, this young lady right here, who, this is the one character I have, and I actually really like her design still. I still stand behind her being very, good, but it has been a while since she came out, so let's take a look here. Valentine Miranda, overall, her master ability is now slash attack resistance penetration of 20, acquired AP by 30%, strike resistance 10, missile resistance 10, single target resistance 10. Dream enhancement is slash and strike resistance, human killer on her abilities, and upgrading some of her abilities. But the major upgrade, of course, is towards, and I guess I should say, like, one of the upgrades is very much to her double hit ability, which breaks magic barriers, increases slash attack resistance penetration by 40 for 3 turns. And that's all really well and good. What about the limit burst? So the limit burst, interestingly, before it was a decrease of spirit, decrease of light resistance, and dealing damage. It's now also gaining 100% hit accuracy. Its range has been increased. I don't know if... Oh, we have to download it. Interesting. I have this unit. Anyway, there's that. The limit burst was this before at 43 AP. I think it's only been increased by 1 or 2. Still single target. 33 AP though is a nice little discount. 100% hit chance on this limit burst now, which is very good, and reduces physical damage taken by 30% for 3 turns. Overall, I think that it's a nice upgrade to a character that wasn't that old. She also, potentially has a little bit of promise on a pure light-based team. I mean, heck, Light ended up getting a brand new slashing-based character who is quite good and, capable of boosting defense. And there's also a new good magic character in the form of the new version of Helena. So this character might have a couple other places to be put now, and not only there too. No, because I think that it's always interesting potentially throwing this character in with some new characters that are really good. Maybe even Dario if the VCs line up properly, so you can get some magic damage up VCs. Could be overall really nice. Either way, I like Miranda's upgrades. Enough said, let's move on to the next character. And the next character is Valentine Elvira, or Sweetheart, depending on which version you play. Boy, did this character already have her master ability too? I want to say yes, because I feel like the increased single target by 40 for self, removed after 2 hits, fire attack up by 10, reaction block rate, AP consumption. She definitely had 140, I do. If not, that's reaction block rate and critical up rate, as well as, even if this is something that I'm just forgetting, it's a nice reminder of what this character can do. Her job level 25 is the one that gets enhanced with chance for mobilize, decrease single target resistance, and decrease ability. This character has been around for a while, and she's been sticking in there for people who still want to run fire evasion teams. And fire evasion players are going to be happy because the character also gets the limit burst. Range stays the same, AP cost gets reduced. It's still a diamond style AoE and upgraded 175 mod, but increase the modifier by 75% for 3 or more enemies in the AoE. Kind of an interesting risk reward. The general attack power has gone down on her limit burst, but if you can catch multiple enemies in it, well, guess what? You're gonna end up pretty happy for it because you are going up to 200. So it's a 50% mod boost for a chance, and I think that's okay, since enemies tend to group together by the way things are right now. Decrease CT by 50% for the targets and increases her own CT by 250. So a nice little boost for her, and decrease for the enemies that do get caught by it. It also increases their evasion rate by 25 turns, which is generally really, really nice because she is going to be harder to hit, and that's something you want with an evasion character. So this character also gets a bit of a thumbs up for me just because, well, doing pretty well. Now, as for the character that I've had historically a tiff with, this character has definitely had it, but just in case, master ability was Spirit Penetration 35, Magic of 15, Reaction Block Rate of 30, Dream ability was AoE resistance, and essentially a magic damage increase across all of it. And then we got the upgrade on her job level 25, which increased her magic by 50% for 3 turns, restored some CT, and 165 mod. And I think that this character has completely disappeared. He may pop back up again just because of the bonus, but I'm curious whether or not she makes any kind of impact. Now, our Limit Burst does have a fairly high range on it, and its cost has stayed the same through its upgrade. But Dispel, all buffs, haste, physical damage increases, magical damage increases, gives her now a 200% a 200% chance for magic damage, basically just magic damage increase for 3 turns, 200% mod, nullifies physical damage for 3 turns, and magic damage for 3 turns for target, which that one I'm gonna have to check on that. What's here? It doesn't. Yeah, the Wotv calc is incomplete, but does increase her CT by 250 like it did before. So let me just check on my screen here as I get brighter. Gives an effect that increases magic damage for 3 turns, reduces enhancement ratio 3 turns, nullifies damage, increased and haste, haste as well. So that's what I think is a little bit of a discrepancy between. So you can essentially creates a magic barrier that reduces magic damage for 3 times. He gets the damage increase for herself, reduces enhancement ratio for 3 turns, and nullifies damage increases hasting, which is a really weird wording of it. It's a bunch of different stuff on a high range limit burst. If you throw this behind a tank, you feel like this has a decent chance of going off, and single target, you can do some damage with this. Question is whether or not this is any kind of good with what is already out there with ice. Personally, I am a big fan of the ice water comps already. I swear I'm not being biased on this just because I'm still not a fan of the cold wounds, but it's a good limit burst increase that probably has some merit to it, but I kind of want to see if it's worth running, because right now it just doesn't feel like ice magic is on track to be a thing. Ice range kind of does things at a distance much better already, and magic is not exactly in the greatest place with a new tank pushing back weight effectively. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably a no for me, but we'll see. All right, jumping over, we'll talk about a few characters that have also gotten upgraded, starting with Lucia. So Lucy ended up getting a limit burst increase to being, now this is the second time it's been down to 28 AP, which is fairly cheap for this character. Missile resistance penetration decreased by 30. That was already the case. It's already dealing a 213, which is the weirdest mod that I've come across in the data before, and possibly ever. 55% chance for disable, immobilize, and what's new, decreases her chance of being targeted by 5, reduces physical damage taken for the larger the area size by 25% turns. I'm not particularly that hyped on the reducing damage taken for 3 turns, because this character wasn't that durable before and probably isn't right now. The hate down is generally kind of interesting because it is something that you do want. The question is whether it will be truly effective and whether or not you've generated not hate for it. It's curious, and I'm curious to see whether this unit ups in performance. I want to say that from my own evaluation, I feel it's kind of mid. It doesn't feel like it's probably going to get there. The limit burst absolutely can go off and will absolutely almost trigger some bonuses. I just don't think that the character is strong enough to really get there. All right, moving on, we will head over to the dark element and talk about Venera. And I just want to preface it. Damn it, I can't think of the word. It's a fancy word. I want to preface this with thinking that what the upgrade that I'm about to talk about is interesting, but Venera is almost certainly not going to be there. So decrease single target resistance by 30, reduces chance to counter by 100. 203 mod, 67% chance for poison, which was before. The single target resistance down and the reduced counter chance down is fine. You're also getting this A cost reduced down to 28, which is quite cheap. The big thing is ignore sure hit for 3 turns. That's really the thing that you want off of this. And the question is whether or not you can get the limit burst off before they hit you. And I feel like the odds on this are not super great. Venera is definitely not used right now, and even if she was, I don't think that result would be that good anyway, so I'm going to say Venera's probably not good enough, but might just come down whether or not you want a coin flip and gacha players. We love that coin flip. All right, next up for limit burst enhancement is Gallia Regali Glassy. Reglacia? Got to be a proper name. I'll agree. Anyway, limit burst increased, improved, increased. So AP cost is the same, and the range on this thing is the same. Big thing now is that utility on this. So before it was 100% chance to counter, 200% mod, and auto restore. Fine. Now increases chance of being targeted for targets, which is really kind of cool. Generating hate on specific opponents is interesting, especially depending on the map. Maybe you hit something behind a tank, and that's enough hate that changes the outcome of the match. It's curious, and I want to see this on another unit more than this unit, because this unit, again, just doesn't feel probably good enough to be run most of the time. Decreases her skill activation time by 350, which is a big boost for her. Reduces physical damage taken by 30 for 3 turns. Would, go a long way to keep her team alive for a bit. But the big thing here is hate modification. And it's curious reading the Wotv calc, because when I read it, according to Ultima, it sets hate to 0, which I think is the more accuracy one to the data. So there's actually a misprint on Wotv calc for people not in the awareness. And hate generation at 0 is very, very just better for this ability, because most of the time you're going to be attacking the tank first. You remove all of the hate. If they don't have a turn before then, you can start getting at the units behind and potentially just killing them, which is super big. This unit is quite interesting, but we've seen this ability before, and usually most of the time it's just better to overpower the tank and kill them rather than hoping that this unit gets out in front. Cast this limit burst, cast this in time, and everything ends up working. It's one of those things that is really good in theory, but it almost needs to be on a ranged unit or something, and that would completely break the reason for even having tanks in play. So it's probably a good idea that this ability mid, and I feel that Regalia here will, while generally still kind of interesting, probably doesn't make it. All right. From there, we have a couple more units to talk about, and then we'll wrap this up, starting off with Wing Stern. Mr. Stern. So before this character, AP consumption down, reaction block rate of 20, and a 10% attack increase. Now he gets critical evasion of 20, accuracy by 10, and last but not least, slash attack resistance penetration by 20 herself. So overall, he's a little more higher chance to survive by just not getting critical hit. Higher accuracy is just better against other teams, and that's something we like. And increasing slash attack resistance penetration by 20 effectively does power up his kit. So overall, it feels like a solid upgrade. I think that this unit will continue to be run if for anybody who is already currently running it. Go. And I think we are finally at our last unit, Reagan, Mr. Reagan. And Reagan, unfortunately, I feel like is probably going to stay in the same place he was before. Magic, flash, and reaction block rate were all on his original master ability. And what we effectively get is a doubling of all of those. So up to 20% for the resistances, reaction block rate of 40, which is generally nice, and a 200% chance for physical damage increased by 10. But unfortunately, he doesn't kind of get some extra resistances that he would probably want. And while a general overall damage increase is good, I don't think it's really enough. This character has always felt a little not quite there. Ice Howlet and A2 right now feel generally pretty strong. that this character would just be supplementary, and why not just run Summer Glassy and probably increase the effectiveness to the point where that team is super strong. Reagan is kind of just good. Generally a good unit, but good is not maybe great enough for most PvP players, though. Generally, a free upgrade is fine, and we'll see what he gets for a limit burst upgrade later. One day, I think. Great. Hope. So that is everything on the JP side that is worth talking about right now. You know, remember that on Friday there's the live stream, and we'll see how angry everybody is about this whole guild switching stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Here. See you later.